Yo, what's going on, everybody? Back for this Wednesday slate. In this video, we're going to go over the NBA Showdown slate with the Toronto Raptors and the Milwaukee Bucks facing off in Game 1. Before we get started, please like and subscribe. Just like yesterday, I will be going over Draftkings and Fanduel, so start on Draftkings and switch over to Fanduel. Starting off at captain, we have Giannis and Kawhi Leonard are very closely priced on Draftkings, with Giannis just being $300 more than him for the captain spot. With this game being in Milwaukee, I think I would much rather play Giannis here at the captain spot. If you want to be different, you could definitely play Leonard at the captain spot, because I'm sure Giannis will be a little more popular since both of those guys are very closely priced. But Giannis just was unstoppable against the Celtics. He could just get into the paint whenever he wanted to. This matchup here, he's most likely going to be defended by probably Pascal Siakam. So Giannis still has a favorable matchup here. He just has a size advantage and a matchup advantage over anybody that he's guarded against. The only way you can slow him down is if you double and triple team him all night and just create a wall around the paint. But I don't think any team is going to be able to do that, because if they do, Giannis is still good enough to find the open passer. He's a great guy at getting assists. He is a tremendous defensive player with the steals and blocks. He was averaging about 2 steals per game against the Celtics and about 2 blocks per game. So he's just a great defensive player. Will fill up all areas of the stat sheet. Can flirt with the triple-double too, and he has a tremendous double-double upside. He's going to play a lot of minutes. Some of the games against the Celtics weren't even close, so you saw him play 31 minutes in a couple of them. But this game with the top 2 seeds should be a little closer, hopefully. So Giannis, you would expect him to play 38, 35, 37 to 40 minutes. Hopefully in close games here. So I like Giannis at the captain spot. And then I'm going to go with Kawhi Leonard as my first guy. So you definitely want to get both of these guys, I would expect, in cash games. Both guys are going to play a lot of minutes, especially Leonard. The Bucks, they have a bunch of depth on the bench. So some of the Budenholzer does like to go with his bench guys and play them 20 minutes. He likes to play Hill 20 minutes. Brogdon, now that he's healthy, he's probably going to play 20 minutes in this one. Connaughton. So they do have some bench guys that the Bucks play, so that's why the starters don't always play so many minutes for the Bucks. But for the Raptors, Leonard is going to play 40 minutes. He's played 43 minutes in a couple of games against the Sixers. He just has to be. When he's not on the court, the Raptors struggle to find any rhythm in their offense. They don't have a go-to guy. They don't have a go-to person to get baskets. It's literally Kawhi Leonard and then a huge drop-off before you get to the next guy that can really make an impact besides Siakam. He took 39 shots last game in Game 7. We all know what happened at the end. Just been shooting the ball really well. Even though he takes a ton of shots, he's efficient most of the time. He's another great guy with the steals. And he's been getting a ton of rebounds against the Sixers. He had games where he had 12 rebounds, 13 rebounds, 14 rebounds. So another guy just like Giannis that can have a double-double upside easily. And with the ball in his hand so much, he's going to average about 4 or 5 assists. So at 11-4, seems like a great play. You got to have both of those guys, I would expect. So now is where you can get after you plug in those two, you can kind of get creative with how you play the other 4 spots. I like Siakam, though. He's $8,400. He's $800 cheaper than Middleton. Siakam plays a lot of minutes, too. When he's aggressive and when he's shooting the ball well, he's gonna have a big score. He's a great rebounder. He probably going to win Most Improved Player this season. He's just very dynamic, spicy P when he gets into the paint, can really make it tough for guys. He is a great finisher at the rim too, and he can hit the 3 as well as shooting 36% from the 3 this season, and he shot about 54% from the floor. So him and Leonard take almost all the shots for the Raptors. So I would expect him to continue to take 15 plus shots. He is another guy that can rack up steals and blocks. So I think he's another strong play here. On the road, they're going to need his defense against Giannis and against some of these other guys like Middleton. So after those 3, I like Mirotic. So we know Mirotic is going to be starting once again. He hasn't had a good shooting game in a while, but last game he had a double-double in just 28 minutes. When he starts, he's a great guy as well with the steals and blocks. He can have a big game in that category. So even though he's not shooting the ball, only shot 3 of 10 last game, but he still put up 37 fantasy points because he had a double-double and he had 3 combined steals and blocks. So if he's going to play like 25 to 30 minutes like I would expect, I'm projecting him for about a point per minute. He's averaging over a point per minute on the season. So that should be about like 32 DraftKings points right there, and that's well over 6x value. So Mirotic at 5,200, I think he's a strong play. And then with the value guys, you can definitely mix it up. You can go George Hill if you want, because George Hill at 3,400, he's been playing really, really well this series for the Bucks and this season just lately for the Bucks. Ever since Brogdon went down, he stepped up big time. So they're still going to play him like over 20 minutes a game, probably 20 to 25, because ever since George Hill has been playing a lot of minutes, they've really cut down the minutes of Sterling Brown. So I'm not sure he's even going to see minutes here now that Brogdon is cleared for a few more minutes. So I'm expecting Sterling Brown, who did used to start. He started the playoffs against Detroit, as you see. But last couple games, they've really taken him out of the rotation, and I would not expect him to see heavy minutes here. So that's a good sign for George Hill, as his minutes should be more secure. But either way, he's at 3,400, extremely cheap. He can easily go like 8, 9x here if he is playing well. He's been shooting the ball extremely well. Shot over 60%. 60% last game, over 60% the game before that. Shot 75% on May 3rd. So he's been shooting the ball really well. He can get some assists too. At 3,400, he's a great value play. And then with the 4,200 left, Brook Lopez. This lineup looks great for cash games or GPPs. So Brook Lopez, only 4,200, just was terrible shooting the basketball against the Celtics. But he's a guy that's averaging just under a DraftKings point per minute, about probably 0.9 DraftKings points per minute on the season. Just shot terribly against the Celtics, just couldn't buy threes. But with him, he can make a huge impact with the blocks, averaging 2.2 blocks per game. He's had multiple 5 blocks games against the Detroit Pistons in that first round series, and he had some big games in that one. So matchup here is a little better against Marc Gasol, who does like to shoot threes too, and Marc Gasol does like to stand right around the 3-point line. So it's a great matchup for Lopez. They're going to need his size to match up with Gasol. So I think both of those guys match up well. 4,200 for Brook Lopez is extremely cheap and a bounce-back series for him. So yeah, those are like the 6 players that I would go with most likely. If you want to mix up the value plays, you could probably go with I don't know, if you're feeling maybe Brogdon if you want. I kind of like what I had originally, so let's keep it like that. But anyway, you can mix and match with some of the value plays. Like I think Connaughton's a good play. Probably Serge Ibaka is going to see more minutes here with his defense. So there are a lot of different ways you can go. But that's what I like for DraftKings as an early look. And then on Fanduel, we're going to do the same thing. Fanduel's different. I explained it yesterday if you didn't play Fanduel. But on Fanduel, we have Giannis's price $2,000 more than Leonard. But either way, I'm going to go right back with what I had on DraftKings. I'm just going to get both of those guys in because both of those guys account for so much points, so much usage on both teams. Giannis, I like him as the 2x guy just because I have him projected for the most points. And it's not like on FanDuel you don't pay extra for having a guy in the 2x compared to the 1.5x. So Giannis, I have him projected for over 65 fantasy points, around 65 fantasy points if he does play 38 minutes. Tremendous point per minute guy. Great with the blocks and steals, I explained on the DraftKings part. So I like him. Leonard, obviously, just going to take a ton of shots, play a ton of minutes, been racking up a lot of rebounds. On FanDuel, you get 3 points for blocks and steals, so those are extra advantages to getting guys like that can rack up those in a hurry. As the 1.2x, there's a lot of different ways you could go on FanDuel because the pricing is a lot different. If you want to play Mirotic at 9,000, you could go with him. I think he's a strong play just because, like I said, he can rack up some blocks and steals, and that would quickly equate to points. And he's going to be starting again, so he has a chance to get double-doubles. And if he is shooting the ball well, he could have a big game easily. So I like him. And then you could probably go with, I like Brook Lopez, too, as another cheap guy, just 7,500. He's extremely cheap. Talked about the upside that he has with the blocks. And this is a great bounce-back series for him. Just didn't match up well against the Celtics for whatever reason and just couldn't shoot the ball well. And then you could probably go with Connaughton if you want, or George Hill. Or even if you think Brogdon's going to get minutes, you could play him and then maybe go up to Danny Green. So a lot of different ways you could go on Fanduel too, but I definitely think you want to lock in both Giannis and Kawhi Leonard in all your lineups because it's hard for me to imagine the winning lineups not having those two guys in there. But that's it for the video. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and good luck today.